Why are we stressing? Yeah, he might owe 50 million.
Just with those two fights, Canelo and the Pacquiao fight, 400 million, just with those two fights.
Imagine getting a letter from the IRS saying you owe millions in taxes. That is how Floyd Mayweather got knocked out by the...
Stephen A. Smith, known for his outspoken style, recently criticized Floyd Mayweather without hesitation. He called out the boxing legend over his continued financial issues, raising doubts about how a fighter who boasts massive earnings can still face significant debt, particularly involving the IRS. Smith emphasized that someone with Mayweather's level of wealth shouldn't be dealing with these kinds of problems, suggesting that they could tarnish his long-standing legacy. His remarks highlighted the clear gap between Mayweather's lavish public persona and the serious financial challenges behind the scenes.
About $140 million that you're throwing around. I don't understand this, but here's all I gotta say. For those of you that are looking at him and you're saying to yourself, excuse me, according to the reports, he makes about $1.5 million per show or whatever. Why are we stressing? Yeah, he might owe.
As he continued his breakdown, Stephen A. Smith expressed disbelief over the way Mayweather has managed his finances, noting how surprising it is that someone who has earned so much could end up in these kinds of conflicts. He suggested that the issue goes beyond money alone, affecting how Mayweather is viewed within the sports world. Smith used the situation to underline the importance of smart financial decisions for top-tier athletes, presenting it as a clear example of how mismanaging wealth can damage even the most accomplished careers.
You know, kind of sold that. It was great marketing. He's not a boxer, but hey, he was a knockout artist in the UFC. I get it. John Gotti III, I don't know anything about him. I'm not trying to disrespect him. And yes, I'm being smart. I'm not trying to disrespect the grandson of a mobster. Fair enough. But what I'm trying to say is this. When you're great, when you're elite, not just anybody deserves to be in your pristine space. And what I mean by that is I'm not talking about on the street, anything like that. Boxing is your...
Floyd Money Mayweather has built a reputation around luxury and high earnings, often highlighting the enormous sums he made from major bouts. He has pointed to roughly $400 million generated from just 2 headline fights against Manny Pacquiao and Canelo Alvarez, with the 2015 match against Pacquiao alone producing an enormous payday in which he reportedly claimed a significant portion. However, despite those staggering numbers, Mayweather came under scrutiny from the IRS over $22.2 million in outstanding taxes tied to that same year. The situation raised questions about how his wealth is handled, especially considering the confident image he presents when it comes to money and spending. Mayweather pushed back on those claims, stating that he had already paid $26 million in taxes for 2015 and challenging the accuracy of the IRS's position, while maintaining that his financial standing remained secure. The contrast between his highly publicized riches and these ongoing tax issues highlights how complex managing vast income can be, and shows that even top-earning athletes must carefully oversee their finances.
He's fighting again, and they say that he's fighting for money. How could that be?
Your team. You know, it's all about who you surround yourself with. I don't know who's his promoter. I gave him the option before. Well, Manny spoke before about fighting the first time. I think I offered him, 40 million. I don't know if it was, but I told him I would wire him 20 million within 48 hours. And then at that particular time, he said he wanted 50-50, and he got off the phone. And at that time, I think I was going to make for that fight probably 75 million at that time, somewhere upwards of 75 million. But it's all about timing. Took my time, I waited, we communicated.
Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s path to fame is a story of rising above difficult beginnings. As a child, he lived in a small one-bedroom apartment in New Jersey alongside multiple relatives, facing hardships that included frequent power shutoffs and an unstable home environment. His mother struggled with drug addiction, while his father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., spent long periods incarcerated. In the middle of these challenges, boxing became both an escape and a sense of purpose. Mayweather has often shared that he largely had to take care of himself growing up, which shaped his strong sense of independence. Under the guidance of his father, a former professional fighter, He developed discipline, sharp focus, and a belief in letting performance in the ring speak for itself rather than relying on outside attention. His mindset is reflected in his belief that nothing is ever truly sufficient, showing a constant drive to improve and a willingness to ignore outside opinions. Over the years, he has tuned out critics and stayed locked in on his goals and achievements. His rise serves as a clear example of perseverance, illustrating how determination and resilience can carry someone from tough circumstances to the very top of their profession.
Before I can take care of anyone outside the home, I must take care of home first. So what I believe in every day is I strengthen my children and my family by giving them wisdom about life. In the boxing world, my dad taught me also, the less you get hit, the longer you can last in the sport of boxing. That's anything in life. For a person that's working a 9 to 5, an everyday job, you want to take as less punishment as possible on that job so you can last a very long time and feed your family. And then my dad also taught me this. It's never good enough, no matter what.
Stephen A. Smith has once again been outspoken in his critique of Floyd Mayweather, particularly regarding his continued involvement in exhibition fights against figures like Conor McGregor. He questioned the reasoning behind these appearances, especially for someone who has already earned massive sums, reportedly around $280 million from the McGregor bout alone. In Smith's view, these events appear to be motivated more by financial gain than by true competitive purpose, that he went on to suggest that taking on less formidable opponents after retirement could weaken the legacy Mayweather established during his prime years, arguing that a fighter of his stature should not be stepping into the ring under such circumstances. Smith also highlighted the contradiction between Mayweather's enormous earnings and his reported financial liabilities, including a $22.2 million IRS tax lien from 2015. He implied that stronger financial management might have avoided such complications. Outside of boxing, Mayweather's lavish lifestyle continues to attract attention. In May 2024, reports claimed he gave $30,000 in cash to 3 homeless individuals near Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, a moment that quickly spread across social media. While many people praised the act, questions emerged soon after when Mayweather shared posts from Dubai on Instagram. The timing led some to doubt how directly he was involved, sparking debate over whether the situation had been presented accurately.
Is Floyd Mayweather? Is he still stuck in Dubai? Is he back in the United States? Because, there's been a lot of contradicting stories coming out about this, but we do have an update of exactly what's going on. And I do think there is some lying involved. I don't know who's lying, but somebody is lying. And that's what we're going to figure out in today's video. By the end of this video, I hope we figure out where Floyd Mayweather is. So, on the 2nd of May, TMZ came out with this article. It says Floyd Mayweather gives $30K to group of homeless men before Clippers game. Now, this comes amid, rumors of Floyd Mayweather being stuck in Dubai because he owes people money. And, these are coming from trustworthy sources, Gervonta Davis, Floyd Mayweather, people who know about Floyd Mayweather's inner life. But back to TMZ. So they reported Floyd Mayweather was courtside for last night's pivotal Clippers versus Mavericks game. But before money got to the arena, he was handing it out, blessing 3 homeless men with $30K. Now, there are no pictures. There is no video of this happening, but there is an official TMZ article, and TMZ usually gets it right. TMZ also said, we're told Mayweather began talking to the guys and decided he wanted to help. So he busted out his backpack and blessed.
This episode highlights how complicated public perception can be, especially for high-profile figures trying to maintain their image. Floyd Mayweather was recently linked to a charitable gesture in Los Angeles that quickly gained traction online. However, the timeline raised doubts, as he appeared to be in Dubai at around the same time. This inconsistency led many to question whether the act truly happened as described or if it had been overstated to enhance his reputation. The disconnect between the reports and his actual location fueled skepticism about his intentions. While generosity can strengthen a public figure's image, any hint of exaggeration can have the opposite effect. In this case, the situation led some to question Mayweather's credibility, creating the impression that the act may have been more about publicity than genuine kindness. As a result, The controversy added further pressure to his public standing. At the same time, Mayweather, long regarded as one of boxing's all-time greats, has also faced criticism over how he handles his finances. Despite earning enormous amounts, including a reported $220 million from his 2015 fight with Manny Pacquiao, he encountered issues with the IRS. In 2017, authorities filed a federal tax lien totaling $22.2 million related to unpaid taxes from 2015. Mayweather then turned to the U.S. tax court, asking for a delay until after his 2017 bout with Conor McGregor, explaining that much of his wealth was tied up in assets that were not easily accessible. The IRS countered by arguing that, given his level of income, he should have had sufficient means to meet those obligations. The dispute sparked wider discussion about his financial practices, the long-term viability of his high-spending lifestyle, and questions surrounding the true state of his wealth. Even so, Mayweather has continued to take part in exhibition fights, maintaining
flaunting, as you said, he's flaunting his opulence. He's also flaunting basically his middle finger at the IRS. You cannot do this. No. You will lose. This is one foe you can't outrun or outdance or outsmart or play defense on. You just can't get away with it. You can try for a while, but the clock is just, that meter is just running and running and running, and it's just going straight up. Interest and penalties as we speak. Another day just passed, another interest penalty. And I don't get Floyd because he's so out there with it, as you say, on Instagram. So it's not like he's trying to hide his opulence. He is throwing it out for all to see with all those cars and all the, it's out.
Joe Rogan also expressed surprise at Floyd Mayweather's lavish way of living and the scale of his spending. Speaking on his podcast, Rogan reacted strongly to Mayweather's collection of luxury watches and diamond-covered jewelry, remarking that someone with such expenses would need a constant flow of income to sustain it. His comments pointed to concerns about how long that level of spending can realistically be maintained. Mayweather's financial situation has been under scrutiny for years, particularly when it comes to taxes. In 2017, the IRS issued a lien stating he owed $22.2 million from 2015, a year in which he earned a massive payday from his high-profile fight with Manny Pacquiao. Mayweather responded by saying he had already paid $26 million in taxes for that year, though the situation continued to raise questions more recently. Reports in 2024 indicated that he paid over $18 million to the IRS, suggesting that tax obligations are still an ongoing matter even after stepping away from professional competition. Altogether, these developments highlight how complicated it can be to manage extreme wealth, even for athletes at the highest level. Rogan's reaction ultimately reinforces the idea that careful financial management remains essential.
He owed that money to the IRS. How much does he owe?
It's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to pay.
Neglect. And it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this. He makes so much money. There's probably a point when they're like, hey, it's time to pay your taxes. And you go like, all right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money. And then they go, that's true, but you owe 50 more. And he's just like, that can't be right. I've given you $25 million.
Yeah, he's bought over 100 luxury cars from the same dealer and always pays in cash.
He has $15 million worth of cars.
Congrats.
Dave Hall, who previously handled Floyd Mayweather's finances, offered insight into the fighter's relaxed attitude toward large amounts of money. According to Hall, sums like $50,000, $100,000, or even $200,000 didn't seem to concern Mayweather much, as he often treated them as relatively minor. This reflected a perspective where money appeared abundant and didn't require close attention. Hall warned that this kind of mindset can be dangerous, especially when dealing with high-value investments. He explained that with assets such as a $100 million commercial property or shopping center, even a $10 million gain can be heavily impacted by taxation. If that profit is taxed at rates between 37% and 40% instead of a lower range like 20% to 24%, the difference can translate into substantial losses. He also pointed out that potential changes in tax policy, such as eliminating the step-up in basis, could further increase financial burdens in the future. Mayweather's approach, as described by Hall, serves as a reminder of the risks tied to overlooking detailed financial planning, emphasizing how essential careful strategy is, regardless of how much wealth someone has accumulated.
Do you have in your bank account?
Which account? Which bank?
You have more than one account?
Absolutely.
I don't even have one account. Give me the amount of money you have in one of your accounts.
200 million? 300 million?
Dollars?
Yeah, in different accounts.
Floyd Mayweather's former accountant has shed light on the boxer's unusually relaxed approach to money, noting that Mayweather often treated sums like $50,000, $100,000, or $200,000 as almost trivial. To him, these amounts barely registered, reflecting a mindset where even sizable figures seemed inconsequential. This carefree attitude caught the attention of financial experts, who know that even relatively small numbers can significantly impact overall wealth. The accountant highlighted that for owners of major assets, minor changes in tax rates can create substantial financial consequences. For instance, a $10 million gain from a commercial property or shopping center taxed at 37 to 40% instead of 20 to 24% can lead to millions in unexpected liabilities. Mayweather's behavior underscores the critical need for strategic financial planning and awareness of tax implications. Despite his enormous earnings from boxing, his casual handling of money raises questions about how effectively he preserves and grows his wealth. The situation serves as a stark reminder that managing immense fortunes is complex, and even the richest individuals are vulnerable if they overlook the details.
401ks, $20,500 contribution that can go in there from you. You can also have employers, and you get up to 50, I think it's actually $64,000 into those this year. So, I mean, again, large amounts you can get inside of there, which if you got the extra money, then builds up to where you can buy properties. Maybe initially you're just doing loans, but over time you're starting to buy actual assets inside of there, and all that's growing tax-free.
Yeah. So do you see any issues coming up front? Any issues coming up, or any challenges, or anything that can affect tax changes that are coming? Obviously, tax rates are going up, but anything that's anyone that's listening, that's a real estate investor, should be aware of? Or
Yeah. The biggest thing that they're talking about is increasing the long-term capital gains rate, getting it back up to ordinary tax. Now, what's being discussed is anything over $1 million transaction. So you'd have many people that are getting into just residences, making 100, 200 grand here or there, $50,000 not going to affect. But for those large investors, obviously that's becoming very concerning, because if you've got a building, big mall or something else, it could be worth $100 million. All of a sudden you've got a $10 million profit on there that's now going to be taxed at 37 or 40 versus 20 to 24. Huge difference. So that's the biggest one people are keeping their eye on. There are some discussions that the step up in basis would go away with death, that people would no longer be able to get real estate with the step up in basis. But both of these have kind of fizzled. Again, they were part of Build Back Better that President Biden could never get enough support for. And with all the other economic issues that are going on right now, they've basically put it all on hold and said, look, we're not going to make any of these big changes until we can get inflation and some of these other things under control.
I saw a thing the other day that I guess it was up to 9.1% inflation.
Yeah.
And was that yesterday, I think. It was all over Facebook that it went up like even more. And I know that we got quoted on a refinance for
Floyd Mayweather's business partner has offered a revealing look at the boxer's finances, highlighting the pressures of his extravagant lifestyle. Even after earning over $1.2 billion during his career, Mayweather reportedly spends hundreds of thousands each month on luxury cars, private jets, and premium real estate, often outstripping his yearly income. His partner noted that even annual earnings of $100 million aren't always enough to cover such high outflows, with the situation compounded by ongoing tax obligations, including sizable amounts owed to the IRS. While Mayweather is widely recognized as one of the richest athletes globally, these insights suggest that his financial standing may not be as secure as it seems. The combination of lavish spending and accumulating debts raises questions about the long-term sustainability of his wealth. Mayweather's financial trajectory serves as a cautionary tale. Despite enormous earnings from boxing and business ventures, unchecked extravagance can quickly generate substantial liabilities. facing legal issues, including unpaid taxes and wages. His story underscores that even the most affluent...
Man, you know, we both made some real money, but you know, you start burning through, you make $2-3 million a year, you burning through $100,000 a month. You ain't really got that much money.
Shit, he probably spending way more than that.
No, I'm talking regular dudes. We say we make $3 million, we burning through $100,000 a month. We really don't got no paper like that saved up.
A fact.
So even if he's making $100 million, if he's burning through $5, $6, $7 million a month, you still got taxes, you still got responsibilities. So I don't know nobody's bag, but you know, me and you, we real. We never count nobody's paper. So
not at all.
I hope he got $10 billion. And I hope he get out of his problem.
That's a fact, because you would figure he should be able to just cash him out, like whatever the...
Interview 11. That's a wrap for today's video. Make sure you stay tuned, because we'll be back soon with even more